Hi, I'm Bybreen and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. So welcome back, people. I've been away in terms of bringing you a new format where I've been delivering these astrology taster classes, which has been fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed them and the people who turned up enjoyed it as well. So I've posted the one about Barack Obama and Victoria Beckham, and the last one that I'm going to post sometime this week will be on the life and times of Miss Oprah Winfrey. How could we not? It would be offensive not to. So I'll be posting that later on. So today is October the 9th, and that means it is the new moon time, and this time it's in Libra. So there's a stellium going on in the sign of Libra because we have the new moon, which obviously is a conjunction between the sun and the moon. It also has Mercury in Libra. So Mercury's at 27 degrees, the sun and the moon are at 15. So there's very much this sense of the flow of communication. It's in the first house. So the flow of communication is your internal flow of communication. Where are you stuck? Because it's time to get unstuck. It's Venus time. The chart is ruled by Venus because Libra is on the ascendant, which means that it's a time for the sharing and the expression of your emotions in relation to love. The love of self first. What is your self-talk about love and any other meaningful matters? It's a time for you to be courageous, to express your emotions, the depth of love that you have for somebody. Is there a special person that's in your life that you would like to bring into your life that's hovering on the horizon, but you really feel something for him or her? You feel it. It's beautiful, it's harmonious, and you know it's going to be a wonderful experience. Plant the seeds to encourage it, because it could be a truly transformative and healing experience for you. If you're in a relationship that isn't serving you, if you're in a marriage that is dead, you know it's dead. It's been dead for a long time. Or if you're in a long-term relationship where you are not being fed and nourished and nurtured and having the wonderful qualities that are innate within you. If your husband, if your wife, if your partner doesn't bring it out, and you know that actually your marriage or your relationship feels null and void, it's time to let it go. Really let it go. Because the signature with Libra, where you have the sun, the moon, and Mercury, so it's a call for you to express what truly lies in your heart. It's also an invitation for you to reflect upon what's the sound and the tone of your inner talk. Is it soothing? Is it encouraging? Is it empowering? Is it critical? Is it demeaning? What's the tone of it? What's the tone and sound of your self-talk? Because we're looking at the whole issue of love, and first and foremost, it has to start with you. So check your inner conversation. Is it something that you need to be developing more of a mindful practice, however you choose to do that? So we have Mercury, and Mercury is opposing Uranus in Taurus. Now it's an out of sign opposition because you have Mercury in Libra, which ordinarily would be opposite Aries. Because of the late degree of Mercury at 27 degrees and the early degree of Uranus at 1 degree, it means that it's an outer sign opposition. So you've got Mercury in the first house, so there is really this call for you to use your voice. It's opposing Uranus in Taurus, which is in the 8th house. So here, 8th house matters of anger, rage, passion, jealousy, insecurity, deep sexual desires and feelings is what's contained within the 8th house, as well as the looking at how you're using resources, other people's resources. Now, the fact that Uranus is there, Uranus wants you to reconsider your attachment to these deeply held emotions, and it's an invitation for you to master those emotions. It's also an opportunity for you to think about, is it a time where you want to be experimenting with sex, with intimacy? Is it a time where you're feeling that you're sexually curious? Is it a time that you want to re-examine the feelings? Is it a time also where you're observing the abuses of power around sex, around intimacy, around the crossing of lines in ways that are quite shocking? So we've seen what's being played out in America. Sadly, it's a tragedy show that's going on over there. And so recently with this Judge Kavanaugh, who was going to be promoted into, you know, a court jurisdiction, and this whole trial of the accusation of him acting improperly, you know, sexually exploiting a woman in his younger years. And so when you have this opposition and it's a call for you to use your voice, use it. Because we're dealing with Libra, so Libra is trying to balance, readdress the imbalances of the use and misuse of power, but also to think about it in terms of how could, through what you say, how could, through you being an advocate, redress the balances in life that will mean that people all around you in your local jurisdiction or beyond could actually benefit from what you have to say. So I've been having wonderful conversations with a friend of mine called Donna, who actually I met through Soul Stirring Astrology. So it's fantastic connecting with people who I thank all of you for continuing to follow me and support me. But anyway, Donna and I were in conversation recently, and she's very troubled about what's going on in America. She lives in America, and she was talking about the midterm elections that are coming up. And she noticed on the ballot papers and just the general discussion in her area that actually the only delegates, the only candidates that are up are Republicans. So she was outraged by this. How could we in 2018 have a jurisdiction that is like basically a one-party state and nobody's raising their head above the parapet to do anything about it? So she was really passionate about this and talking about, you know, possibly just looking at the issues of domestic violence, sexual violence against women, who's speaking up for these issues. And I listened intently and I said to her, well, why not you? Why can't you be that person? Here in the UK we have something called local councillors. I don't know what the equivalent is in America, but why not you? And this Libra new moon is a call for all of us. Why not me? You know, I am, you are the change you're waiting to experience and see in the world. So the stellium that takes place in Libra is a powerful call for the things I've just mentioned. Alongside this, we have Venus, which is retrograding from the 5th of October to the 15th of November. It's retrograding through Scorpio. So we've got this double Scorpio signature, as I've just mentioned, with Uranus in Taurus, but in the 8th house, which is Scorpionic. And then we have Venus and Jupiter. Venus is retrograde, Jupiter is direct. They are both in Scorpio. Here again, Scorpio is about what lies under the surface. So the emotions, the tensions, the anger, the jealousy, the passions that might be bubbling away under the surface. With Venus there, it's a call for you to re-evaluate the depth and the tone of your emotional world. And on top of that, to work out in that emotional world, in the world of relationships, in the world of creativity, what is it that you value? So Venus here is in the 2nd house, and naturally she rules the 2nd house. So it is about the tangible things. It's about your talents as well, and your skills and your knowledge. How can you rethink that, repackage it, repurpose it in a way that can add deep value to other people? Venus is also forming a sextile with Pluto. So here again, we've got this signature going on, the depth of feelings that you may have in your intimate relationships, this sexual chemistry, the sexual tension is there. And with Venus and with the stellium in Libra, it's time for this re-examination of emotions, feelings, how you're able to bring balance and harmony into these areas. And what else is going on? We have this opposition, as I've just mentioned, with Mercury and Uranus. There's another opposition that's taking place, and this time it's with the North Node and Mars. So Mars is moving direct in Aquarius. The North Node is at 3 degrees in Leo, and Mars is at 9 degrees in Aquarius. So the opposition, what's it's signalling is potential disruption and wars that could take place. So this week's Sunday Times front page, it was talking about the UK is preparing itself for a military attack that it thinks is going to come from the Russians against the West. So here we have the signature played out. In Britain, we're getting ready for when the Russians attack. Now, Mars is at 9 degrees in Aquarius, so that means it could have worldwide implications. Because Britain, for example, may want to defend her territory because you've got the North Node placed in Leo. It's at 1 degree. What could this, sorry, it's at 3 degrees. So what could this mean in your own world? Where is there a schism in your life where you're feeling pulled, where you're feeling angry, where you're not actually handling your emotions in a way that's going to enable you to honour the North Node in Leo that still wants you to shine? It moves into Cancer in November, so we've got just under a month to go. So here it's about harmonising the schism. It also feeds into this Libra signature. Harmonise the schism, bring balance back into your world, and then take that harmony into the world. We also have a trine that exists between Venus and Neptune. So we have Venus, as I said, is retrograding through Scorpio, and we have Neptune, which is in its own sign of Pisces. Now it's in the 6th house. Now Neptune in the 6th house is a bit of an anathema because the 6th house is the house of Virgo, and so therefore Virgo wants the details of everything. It wants to be in different compartments, everything separated, whereas Neptune wants wholeness and bringing things together. So therefore there's a bit of a disconnect. It's in the 6th house, the house of the body and the house of health. Now with Neptune here, it could be a call for you to think about, your immune system. Is it being compromised in any way? Where you have Neptune in the 6th house, you might have illnesses and germs. Sadly, here in the UK, 2 people so far, as much as we know, have died of food allergies. One way of looking at it, it could be that, there was some type of poison that went into their body. With Neptune in Pisces in the 6th house, poisons aren't things we can see, but they have a negative impact on the body. So with Venus trining Neptune, it's a time for you to think about what value do you place on your body, how you treat your body, the food you bring into your body, reason being because Venus is one of rules Taurus, and the moon is exalted in Taurus, and that's also to do with food. So with this trine with Venus and Neptune, over the next 5 weeks, give some deep consideration at how you could regenerate your approach to the foods that you bring into your body. Now, there's trouble on the horizon here for us in the UK. Brexit, will it happen, will it not happen? So let's take the road, it could happen in March. One of the problems with the UK is that it's not a heavy food producer, so we import a lot of our food. Now, if Brexit takes place, there's going to be heightened tariffs and taxes on the food that is imported, which then suggests that if you are on a low income and you can't afford to buy food, what is going to happen here in the UK in 2018, in the 21st century, where people literally cannot and don't have access to good, quality, healthy, nutritious food? What is going to happen? one of the things that could happen is that we're going to see the rise of food being brought in and sold on the dark net. Now, if food is sold on the dark net, that means there are no regulations or very little regulations. And so we are entering a terrain whereby we're going to see a deeper separation of the haves and the have-nots. Who has access to what? As I said, I was at this meeting last night and we were having this fascinating conversation about this particular issue. So with this trine, with Venus and Neptune trining each other, it's a time, and particularly with Venus retrograding, start to think about how you honour your body. So that's it, quite a lot going on with this new moon in Libra, seeking harmony and balance and the expression of love. If there is a special person in your world, in your life, tell them, share it with them, share it with yourself, plant the seeds to bring about possibly one of the greatest love stories for your life. So that's it, beautiful people. That's me in terms of this new moon reading, and it brings me to the quote of the day, which is by W.M. Lewis, and what he said is this: the tragedy of life isn't that it ends too soon, but that we wait to take action far too long before we actually move into changing and developing and beginning the life we truly want to live. It's time now. It's time to wave goodbye to what doesn't serve you, really serve you in your heart. That brings harmony, that brings peace. You know, where is it that you can be expressing your love? To the people, to that special person. It's Venus, Libra, deep, deep, deep love. You know, where is it that you could show your appreciation for somebody? So last week I wrote an email, a thank you email to a friend of mine who did something very nice for me. So, you know, I emailed him and I thanked him for, you know, for a number of things. And it's wonderful. I wanted to do it. I just did it from my heart centre and it was received very warmly. Then 2 days later, somebody wrote this fantastic testimonial. Thank you so much, Latosha. So Tosha wrote this beautiful testimonial about me thanking me for the impact that my astrology has had on her life. So it's a time where we can be exchanging our love in so many different ways. So as always, beautiful people, tell me how you are expressing and exploring love. Put me in the comment box below. You know I love to connect with you. If any of you are interested in having a personal consultation with me, then drop me an email at Bybreen Samuels, that's BYBREEN Samuels at googlemail.com. So until then, stay well and really plant those juicy, juicy seeds to bring about the love that's going to balance your heart, balance your life, and share it with others. Okay, bye.